In 3, 2, 1. Tommy's Mailbag and anniversaries. Tommy's Mailbag, won't you read that mail to me? What's up, guys? Hey, quick little note, quick little housekeeping thing we need to address. So this is our first time on YouTube. I just want to welcome, I can look right in the camera now and say, welcome to everybody who is watching us on YouTube.
Why weren't we all shirtless for this? What the hell were we thinking?
I think that might break some sort of YouTube rule. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it.
From like the shoulders up? Come on, man.
All I know is that we are going to start posting our mailbags and anniversaries on YouTube every week. So we are part of the Korked Bats Podcast Network. One of the things that you'll notice is that with Korked Bats' other podcast, The Junk Drawer, every week they post their entire podcast to YouTube, and we've just been strictly audio. We kind of talked about how we wanted to do things, and really what it comes down to is since we don't do a fresh, long recording every week, but we do a mailbag every week, we would tape it and post it on YouTube. So you're not going to get the full podcast if you're watching this on YouTube. You will have to go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts to subscribe and listen to the entire podcast every week. But we will give you just a little nugget,
Taste.
every week so you get an idea of what we're about. If you have never listened to our podcast before, I am one of the co-hosts of the CineBoiz podcast. My name is Kenny. We are joined by our good friend Tom Bragg.
What's up, y'all?
I just realized my name is Butt Soup right now.
Well, luckily, the names don't show up on the video, so
Dang it.
you can put whatever you want. But I am going to
You
just
outed yourself.
flash it real quick. Flash it real quick in front of your face. Butt Soup.
Butt soup.
There we go. There it was. All right. So we got Tom in Columbia. Tom, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ken. And to both of our listeners out there, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we have a lot more than 2 listeners. I won't give you the specifics, but there's a lot more than that.
We've got at least 7, less than 20.
That's not true. Mm-hmm. That's not true. Anyways, Kevin Keith, a.k.a.
Butt Soup.
Butt Soup, in
Butt
Columbia,
Soup.
Missouri as well. How are you, Kevin?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. And then, of course, we got our East Coaster, freaking East Coast Elite, MOB, Frank Michael O'Brien, the 4th Mob. How are you?
Oh, I'm great in what we call not flyover country on the East Coast of Kentucky. Also, I got a new chair.
Sweet new chair, bro.
So I'm kicking it.
Sweet chair. That Patagonia vest looks nice
yeah.
and new, too.
Is it
Yeah, I
autumn?
noticed
Jeez.
It's not new.
Good.
It's not new.
Well, it looks sharp.
No, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it for introductions. Why don't we stop wasting everybody's time and get into that mailbag? Tom, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I believe we have a few electronic parcels this week. Our first question says, "Hey boys, the original Jurassic Park is one of my all-time favorites. The sequels have been hit or miss though. Lost World was entertaining. JP3 was Jurassic World was rather enjoyable, but right back down in the pooper with Fallen Kingdom. With the original cast returning for Dominion, I am super stoked for the next installment. So do you think we'll finally see Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler, hook up?" And that comes to us from Dino Dave from Denver.
Dino Dave. All right. So personally, I have always been a little confused on the love timeline between Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler. Like, aren't they together in the first movie?
I didn't think so.
I thought no also.
I thought they just had that tension the whole time.
That's what I thought.
Okay, maybe I've always read that wrong, but I just felt like they were in some sort of relationship together. I know that in 3 she's married, right? Like she's in 3 briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? I think it'll be good though. I'm excited.
I'll go see it.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be not good. That's my.
I'm with
that's my
Kevin.
But do you think it
take.
could be worse than the last one?
I think it could be.
Because that one was bad.
I'll
think-
tell
I
you
think
this much.
there's
Very
always
bad.
potential to be worse.
Yeah, I think that was the question with Jurassic Park 3, right? Could it be worse than Lost World? And it was. And I think the other thing
And it
is,
was.
It was.
yeah.
Next question.
I actually didn't see Fallen World because I was just like, okay, this is the
Neither.
premise pissed me off. 'Cause
I
was
watched
like,
it on my
you're
phone.
doing, you're doing exactly what they did in Lost World. Wouldn't you have learned?
Yeah.
So-
I watched it on my phone. Wasn't good. Didn't care
Yeah.
for it.
I just outside of here's my hot take. Outside of Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm kind of done with Chris Pratt as an action star.
Oof.
Okay.
So like
Hot take.
romantic comedy star then?
Yeah, he could be comedy, but I don't know. I think they tried to make him more than what he actually is in real life.
Maybe he's just in a bit of a drought.
Maybe.
What was his last good movie? Guardians? What was his last good character?
Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel.
Yeah, so when he's playing that type of character, I'm good with it. But otherwise, I think I'm kind of done with Chris Pratt. Just let him be Andy Dwyer.
Okay. That's fair. That's a hot take. I mean,
Harsh.
I feel like
But fair.
there was a period of time where he was on like a meteoric rise, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cooled off substantially.
And then he did Passengers.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that didn't help.
Didn't even bother to see that one.
Oh gosh,
I was really excited for it and then really disappointed by it.
not great. Oh man. Well, Tom, what else we got?
Yeah, our next question. Yo, what's the grossest movie you've ever seen? I'd rather not say mine. Human Centipede. It was aight. That comes to us from Pete from Staten Island.
Pete's a nasty guy.
Is that actually Pete? That doesn't seem like a Pete question.
Said it was
Yeah.
from Pete.
I feel like Pete
Yeah.
would dig that movie.
I thought I knew Pete.
Pete said it was aight. It's just the grossest movie he's ever seen.
Well, I don't know. That's a tough question.
Just
Maybe like The Fly. That movie's pretty freaking gross.
You saw Grinding Nemo.
I did, but like that movie's just
that had to
weird.
be disgusting.
It's just weird. I didn't think it was like I wasn't like ew. Even though there were a few parts, it's like she's having sex with a fish man. That's kind of weird, you know. Hey, love is love. Who am I to judge?
I guess.
I can't think of a movie where it's like the whole premise was gross. There's definitely movies where there's parts of it that are gross, but I can't even think of those off the top of my head.
I mean, if they're like super gross, then they're almost like kind of horror movies and scaring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I watched enough of Hostel to get the idea that I didn't like it because of how gross it was. So that might be mine.
I feel like Saw gets into that. I mean, I like the first Saw,
Yeah.
but like after that, it's just like, hey, how insane can we make this?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not about that. Also, speaking of Saw, I just want to bring up, I don't know if you guys saw this, but our friends over at Korked Bats and the Junk Drawer podcast decided to do a movie draft this past episode.
How dare they?
Who
I missed
in
it.
the hell do they think they are? I told them, I said, we're going to let it slide this one time, but, you know, it happens again. We're going to do a ball sport episode.
Did they get our written consent from our lawyer?
No, they didn't even talk. They didn't even say anything. Didn't even get a text from Austin. Nothing. They just did it. So
You don't want to hear from our lawyer.
yeah, you don't.
Our lawyer is scary.
Our
Super
lawyer
mean.
is that really mean lady on Fox News.
Just-
That's our lawyer.
Made me
Just-
cry.
Just ask those kids from the Apple show. They know.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
legal reasons, we have to call them the Apple Show, not their real name.
The Apple show. Yes.
Thank you, Butt Soup.
Yes. What else we got in that mailbag?
Yeah, we got one more question. Hey, boys, have you seen the cast list for Adam McKay's new movie, Don't Look Up? It's absolutely absurd. And that's our boy Marvin from Chicago.
It's bonkers.
It's
It looked
it's
wild.
like I
It's a lot
imagine
of
I felt
people.
the same about Ocean's 11 as I do about this. I can't really remember how I felt about Ocean's 11 anymore, but this is maybe bigger than that.
I don't even know what the movie's about. So like, I don't
cares?
Is it like another true story thing that, I mean, that's typically Adam McKay's thing, is that he'll either make Anchorman or these
Based on-
like
It's a dark
Oscar-nominated,
comedy, is it not?
Yeah,
Isn't it a dark comedy?
Yeah, for
Obviously.
sure. Vice.
But I mean,
Big Short.
I think those last couple that he's done are considered like comedy-esque.
Yeah.
Let's rattle off some of the names. Because
Is this Jennifer Lawrence's biggest role since Passengers?
I feel like
Passengers-
she has not been around a lot. Let me look at. I just
she,
want to read
she
this off.
did have a monster like 4-year stretch, and then she really hasn't done a lot since.
Also, to the guy who had the over of 1.5 on the amount of times I would mention Passengers on this episode, you can collect.
Yep. Life's
We are-
too short to bet the under, even when talking about Passengers. So
If John Cougar Mellencamp ever wins an Oscar, I'm gonna be a very rich man.
Like this, like a lot of these websites don't even
10,000
have
to
the
1.
full list. Like they're just like, hey, here's like 3
Yeah, it's
names.
crazy.
This movie's going to be big. It's like, no, there's like 20 like huge names. Okay, here we go.
Mhm.
So this is some of the cast list of Adam McKay's Don't Look Up, and you can look us up on Instagram at the CineBoiz. We kind of posted a bunch on there about it. But we got Leonardo DiCaprio, Timothée Chalamet, Jennifer Lawrence, Kate Blanchett, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Kid Cudi, Ariana Grande, Matthew Perry, Hamish Patel. I feel like I might have repeated a few, but it's dizzying. Like the amount of people that are in this movie who are
wasn't
all-
Hemsworth in it? Did I make that up?
No, he's
Why
not.
did I even think that? Maybe I just got confused with our Hemsworth Wednesday post.
Also, he
Hard
got
to
casted
separate
in the
those
new Mad Max spinoff movie.
That's what I'm
That's
thinking
it.
of.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking
But
of.
this is not this we can confirm that Chris Hemsworth is not in Adam McKay's new film.
I am. I'll see it just because Kid Cudi's in it. That's
Yeah,
all.
I wasn't.
Hey, Kid
none
Cudi
of the
and I'm in.
names. None of the names impressed me until Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi's
Scott
been showing up
Mescudi.
everywhere, and I dig it. Let it be known that I am pro Kid Cudi. Not just him in like shows and movies, but like his music too. Big
Yeah.
fan.
Hopefully, the soundtrack of the movie is just "Man on the Moon."
Or soundtrack to my life.
This is the soundtrack to my life.
Soundtrack to my life.
Yeah, I love Kid Cudi.
Yeah. Also, he was
Speaking
the
of
band leader
rappers-
on Comedy Bang Bang for a while. So
Speaking of rappers in an acting role,
Raptors.
not to bring it up again, but Project Power, Machine Gun Kelly's in it. He wasn't good.
I don't know how I feel
So-
about Machine Gun Kelly. He is an interesting person.
I don't think he is good at acting.
I feel like I went to college with him and he annoyed me constantly. And then later down the road, he was the guy asking me for job recommendations. So, like,
Wait, no, I know who that is.
maybe.
But I don't think his name was Machine Gun Kelly. I'm not going to say names because I don't know who listens to our podcast.
Text the group
I'm
later.
not thinking of anybody in particular. I'm just saying, like, that's the vibe that Machine Gun Kelly puts off to me, is that, you know, you hung out, like, he was a fringe friend in college, and then about 3 years after, he was hitting you up for recommendations on his resume to join the company you work for.
I get more of the vibe that he is just
I
doing a
can't-
lot of drugs, and I don't know,
For sure.
just drugs and hanging out with Megan Fox.
Yeah, that's his girlfriend, right?
I think so.
I know very
don't
little
know.
about Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
We're neutral. On
This is now a Machine Gun Kelly podcast.
Yes.
Not
officially.
pro, but possibly against.
We'll talk about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're neutral. We're Machine Gun Kelly
Okay.
neutral here at the CineBoiz
Neutral
podcast.
to negative.
Yeah. Is that what else? Do we got anything else in the mailbag?
That's all we got this week.
Well, hell, let's get into some movie anniversaries then.
All right. First up, happy 5-year anniversary to Bridge of Spies.
Ah,
That movie.
I know how you guys feel about that one.
It really was exciting and not boring.
I'll never forgive it.
And
I'll never forgive it.
Why is that,
What
Mob?
did he
I know
do
why,
to
but tell
you?
everybody why.
Because Mark Rylance stole the Oscar from Sylvester Stallone for playing Rocky in the motion picture Creed.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
it was a beautiful performance. I legit was in tears in the theater. I think I was sitting near Kenny, and it was his second time seeing the movie.
Yeah.
And I'll never be able to forgive it.
I was talking to somebody the other night, and Creed was brought up, and they were talking about how it's easily in their top 5 favorite movies. It's so good. Like
It's my third favorite movie.
yeah, you and this guy would get along really well, I think, and you know him, so I mean, you already get along with him, so that's cool. Anyways. But yeah, no, Creed's an excellent movie. I'm in the same boat. It pissed me off. Like Stallone deserved that Oscar, just like Keaton deserved the Oscar for Birdman, which we are a pro Birdman podcast. Let that be known.
Oh,
Tom,
we are not a pro
next movie.
Birdman podcast.
Moving on. Next
Objection.
movie.
Happy 10-year anniversary to Red. I think that had Bruce Willis.
yeah.
Oh.
It was like The Expendables,
Helen
just not The
Mirren.
Expendables.
Just not nearly as
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
The Expendables wasn't good.
I didn't see it. Never saw it. I
It
remember it
might
coming
be
out.
on the
I think
same-
there was a Red 2 even,
Yeah, I think there
Yes.
was. A
There
sequel.
was.
Yeah.
and I'm sure we've all seen it. So no need to talk about it anymore, I guess.
I have not.
Yeah.
Happy 25-year anniversary to the Scarlet Letter. So
The Scarlet Letter.
yeah.
You
Easy
had to
A?
read that in high school, Ken?
Well, yeah, but like I don't remember the movie. Who's in that?
It's Easy A.
I looked it up the other night. I think it's got Gary Oldman in it. I just looked at the poster.
I
It
can't.
looks
think of
like
the
Gary
movie, actually.
Oldman.
Yeah, but they-
maybe who's the girl? Was it Jennifer Connelly?
Demi Moore.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Anymore.
I can see how they look alike.
Who
You know,
rocked
Easy
the
A
ball?
was it was just
A modern day.
based off of
Yeah.
Scarlet Letter. So
It's entertaining.
yeah, I liked Easy A.
5.3 out of 10 on IMDb for the Scarlet Letter. So must have
Sounds
been
about right. That
amazing.
was boring
That's
as
low
heck.
because IMDb scores are usually pretty high.
right, like higher than Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, let's
It's
look up
like-
Rotten Tomatoes.
It's like if you're not catching 7s on IMDb, then you're not a good movie.
You're a bad movie.
Scarlet Letter. Harley Scarlet Knower.
Oof.
1995. 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yikes.
hmm
Good God.
What was
Let's
the
watch it.
audience score?
Audience score 41%. So
Okay, so quite the disparity.
4 out of 10 people, 4 out of the 10 of your friends liked it. Think about it that way. Well, I think that's it, guys. I think we're done. I just want to say personally, good job. I had a great time, and I hope to see you guys again next week. Also, if you're joining us on YouTube for the first time, we're really happy that you watched this. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the CineBoiz. You can email us for our mailbag, the CineBoizPodcast@gmail.com. And also listen to the full podcast through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, through our page on the Korked Bats website or Anchor.fm, who graciously distribute our podcast every week. So, yeah, you guys got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, you just bored the hell out of Tom.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a long week.
Yeah,
Long
cool.
week.
Well, Tom's not a fan of the podcast. He just shows up and helps us record
Yeah.
it every week. He's actually anti-CineBoiz podcast.
Anti-CineBoiz.
And I'm well underpaid.
Cool, man. All right. Well, I'll see you guys next week.
Okay, bye.
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 Bye.